You can't close the leads you're given. You can't close shit. You are shit. Hit the bricks, pal, and beat it, because you are going out.
Welcome back. We are here. It is a beautiful Friday in sunny Orlando, Florida. I'm here as always with Craig, and this is the closing table by Lead House 365.
What's up, guys?
What's going on, Craig? How's your week, man?
Pretty good. We've been really busy, which is a great thing. So, yeah, looking to finish this month strong. I think as far as Lead House goes, is the biggest month, biggest quarter, biggest month that we've ever had, which is great. So, we appreciate the business, all the viewers, and all the affiliates, all of our clients. We appreciate the business and the love. Looking for a strong Q2 in marketing and in real estate as well. How about you, Andrew? How's your week?
It's been good. Been settling back in from some traveling, and obviously things have been crazy busy for us. And excited to work with so many new people. And shout out to Stephen Trang and the Real Estate Disruptors and the Disruptors podcast for all the love that's really been getting us in front of a lot of new faces. So if you're one of those new faces, welcome to the family, and hope that someday we can work together on something. So we got some people jumping in on Instagram, which is great to see. Feel free to drop any questions you guys might have. We're definitely running kind of free form today. We don't have any really set plan or any guests. Lately we've been having a lot of guests, but today is a little bit more just kind of a F around Friday and kind of just have some fun. So Craig, was there what do you see that we got Q2 coming up? Some big stuff that people should kind of have their eyes on as we head into Q2.
Yeah, as far as the real estate side, guys, this is going to be the ramp up period to summer. Everyone that was thinking about selling usually pushes it off till summer, just because the kids are out of school, people are on summer vacation, and it's much easier for them to make that moving experience a lot easier and less stressful. So it's going to be busy this year. Rates have been lower since the previous summers, and we think that we're gonna see a killer Q2 spring and even more busier summer. So I'm excited. I hope you all are excited. See what this brings. But yeah, that's the main thing I think on. And then also, people still what's going on in the economy and in the world and technology. There is still a few people you run into that are kind of weary about where we're heading right into the future, and it's scary because we don't really know. We've never really had AI taking or just technology that savvy while we're in a war at the same time. So we have multiple things we're battling. It's getting a little crazy out there, but back to the basics. This is what we do. We market and we buy houses.
Mm-hmm. And in that uncertainty, like every time there is a period of uncertainty and distress in the economy, it always just creates opportunity. Now, knowing what that opportunity is and being prepared for it. But I know, like for a lot of people, some colleagues and peers of mine, that like when COVID happened, it was some of the most biggest opportunity they had as far as investing.
Hell yeah.
Especially in like things like the stock market. I think the day that COVID happened, it was one of the biggest. It was like the biggest stock market tumble since the housing bubble day of 2008, and before that was like the Great Depression, right? So there is always opportunity in that. When everyone else is running one direction, that's usually the best time to run the other direction. And why some people see the stock market collapsing and they have fear and they sell off their assets, trying not to lose out on the floor bottoming out. The smartest ones are right there buying. So I feel like right now, this year specifically, it's a weird time because the rates are, have been going up for the last few weeks ever since this war kind of started, but that's only, I believe, going to be temporary, and they're still probably lower overall than what they were last year. Craig, explain the commercial leads campaign and how does it work?
Oh, we have a question here.
Yep.
Well, it's the same thing, guys. A seller who is going through a probate situation, maybe their spouse passed away or someone in their family passed away or whatever.
Or retiring.
Yeah,
We get that a lot too.
although they have to go through that with their personal house, they also have to go through that with like all of their assets, right? So if their significant other or family member owned whatever it was, a commercial property, vacant land, or a self-storage facility, anything, right? If they were an investor, that same process has to happen. So long story short, the same person going through distress with a single family house, a personal residence, is the same criteria of a person going through it with commercial. It's just a little more sophisticated of a seller. And the good thing is there's not much competition when it comes to inbound traffic for these people, because to my knowledge, we're the only ones doing it.
What would you say is the main difference when dealing with a commercial seller versus a single family traditional seller that most investors might deal with?
The main difference?
Yeah.
I would say commercial is more of a numbers as far as like long-term projections. Your buyer, or if you're buying it and keeping it, not wholesaling it, that person has to understand like numbers, P&Ls, expenses, cap rates, T12s, depending on the asset. So it's longer projection and there's more financing involved. If you're wholesaling it, it's the same process, but you probably need a little bit of number savvy to understand like, hey, how are they calculating their return based on, because it's not like, it's kind of like ARV, but the building's income is what's going to create the value of how much it's worth, right? So how much value can be added to make it worth whatever the ARV is. So when it's like residential, it's more so after repair value. We're just calculating the expenses to be able to flip it and make a profit. These guys are holding it long term, unless they're just wholesaling it, but it's more numbers moving around. It's a bigger asset. The sellers are a little more sophisticated. They're probably business owners as well.
So it's going to be harder to explain maybe, the benefits
terminology.
And I think with the commercial sellers, it may just be that they're looking to move it for a numbers game, right? It's not necessarily as emotional of a distress. This isn't like the house they raised their family in. It could have just been like, hey, like I bought some vacant land. I thought I was going to develop something. Didn't end up doing it for one reason or another. And now I'm just looking to get rid of it. And do the numbers make sense for me to sell it to you? Or am I going to keep waiting, right? But no one's marketing to these guys, right? So they don't have people coming in trying to buy that vacant land. They're not being reached out to. They're not seeing ads. So we have kind of an advantage of we've built funnels, pixels, tracking scripts, AI algorithms to find these commercial sellers who are looking to sell commercial property. The main benefit is that everything's the same. The main benefit is these guys aren't getting 20 wholesalers calling them a day. There's not people banging down the door, and there's not people reaching out to them for these properties. So when they raise their hand and they say, I'm looking to sell this, you really don't have to worry about giving an offer and then someone coming in and undercutting you the next day as much. The spreads can be a lot bigger because the asset values tend to be a lot bigger. However, with that, I think the timeline of how long it takes from like lead to close is also longer. So like that delayed gratification, you have to understand, could take a little bit longer. We're dealing with a commercial property in St. Louis, and we've been working on it for like probably 3 months already. And it doesn't look like it may potentially close until July, because that's just the way commercial property deals go sometimes, right? He owns the building. There's tenants in the building. So he has to wait for those tenants to move out and then it to be clean, all that stuff. So like all that comes into an account where, we've seen single family home transactions be done in 14 days, like the quickest time of 14 days. That's very unrealistic probably for commercial properties, just because these guys aren't quite on the same timeline of distress all the time. But the flip side of that is like, you're not competing with anybody. if the numbers work, they'll probably do the deal with you, and you don't have to worry about coming in and scooping that from underneath you.
Yep. And then also, like, from what, like you mentioned, these people are getting cold called, like commercial. I mean, everyone gets cold call, right? Like, just from it, spam messaging or people trying to sell you something. Once your number's out there, it's out there. But on the commercial side, a lot of investor wholesalers, it's hard to bypass the LLC, the entity information. If this, 20 unit building is registered, is in the owner is a LLC, then it's hard to get a hold of the actual decision maker. So it's definitely hard. It definitely doesn't make as much sense to try to locate this person when you can just rip a list of single family homes where all their details is in the data, so it's a little more grunt work if they want to go the outbound approach. Now, is everything inbound. So no matter what entity the seller put the property in, they're coming to you. They're filling out a form with their personal information. So it's a huge advantage for them to say, hey, help me, raise my hand. I got gifted this 50 acres of land and I don't know what to do with it. It was passed down from someone in the family, but it's in, some company's name. I'm the grandkid, the heir to the throne. Help me. You know what I mean? So it's a much easier conversation. But again, bigger assets, more people aren't as distressed as what they are if it's, they're living in it currently.
For sure. We got a few people on Instagram. We'll try to get to everybody. Thank you guys all for jumping in. If you're here, bringing values, stoked to have you here. Are you guys a PPL or an agency?
We are an agency. We tried PPL guys in the past. The quality, it's hard. It's tough. PPL quality is like, I would say you kind of have to pre-sell it before you even get it, before knowing how much it's going to cost you. And it's kind of like working backwards. As far as the commitment, it's easier for the client, right? Because they're going to buy a lead and buy one today, buy two tomorrow, buy three next week. And then also the whole return policy thing, which is, it's tough for us because we can't go to Facebook or Google and say, hey, give us our money back. If you guys say to us, give us our money back. So it's like, it's tough. We tried it. It worked for a little bit, but then it just was too much of a pain in the ass. So we just switched over everything to agency PPC and really customized your criteria, your campaign based on what you consider a lead, because the guy in your market, might not consider a lead the same way you do, whatever that may mean to you. Maybe you can list it or you can't. Maybe you can buy it and he can't, or maybe you're just doing one exit strategy. So the campaign is built on exactly what you want, and it's going to kick out everything you don't want. Yeah. So that's our main focus right now, is how can we provide you guys with the best quality lead based on exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah. There's a few flaws that we found, because just so everybody knows, we're investors ourselves. We've been doing this for years, and that's what led us to create this company. Craig came to me and with his real estate investing company, and me being a digital marketer I'm one of the best, ad buyers in the world. We came up with this strategy because the PPL model was so flawed, and I'll explain why. I think PPL is a great place for like beginners who maybe are just getting started. They maybe don't have the biggest budget, but what you get for your money is extremely out of whack. If you're buying leads in the middle of nowhere, that are like the most affordable ones in a PPL because there's no one wants them, then yeah, sure, it can be affordable for most of the time. For a premium lead, one that we would generate you guys, you might be paying up to $200, $300, $400 or above from what we've seen. Our model is kind of more like a subscription model. You pay one fixed cost per month that fits your budget, and we will maximize that, right? And then we communicate week to week, and we say, hey, how are things going? You give us feedback on what the leads we're generating you, and then we can customize at any time and adjust that. With PPL, guys would come in and they'd buy leads from us, and then they would leave and we never hear from them again. We have no idea of feedback of like, are these leads working for you? As a PPL provider, you then return leads that maybe were already in your CRM or whatever it might be. And now you're just they give you credit back into their platform, and you're just giving more money. There's casinos giving you more money, right? To come spend at the same casino. You can only spend it at that casino. They then take that same lead and then they re-put it on the platform and sell it to somebody else. And they're just doing that, hoping that eventually someone doesn't return it, right?
Yep.
You know how it is. You forget to cancel your Netflix subscription. That's the way their business model is. Their business model isn't the money they make from all the people using the gym membership. It's the money Planet Fitness makes from the people who don't use the gym membership and aren't using any of the resources, and the expenses stay the same. So with us, it's maximum. We have some guys who, because of the way they set up their business model and the way we set up their funnel, they may get 50 leads their first month. They may get 100 leads their second month. They don't pay us a single dollar extra. Our job is to maximize the amount of leads that fit your criteria and the amount of deals you can get for a fixed cost. Versus PPL, we don't care if your business succeeds or fails. Here's your lead. Take it or leave it, right? So we're a partnership. We want to create a acquisition channel that for you guys is consistent, it's scalable, and most of all, it's profitable. Most of our guys who have been doing this, who know what they're doing, 4x or more return on their budget every single month. And they just come bring us more and more of their marketing budget. So that's kind of how we set it up. We'd rather consider ourselves a partner to you and your guys' marketing team versus just being a PPL provider. So that's like the main difference. If you can think about some of these, maybe like a service where, you go into a store and you buy one thing at a time, right? That's a PPL. For us, it's like, hey, you're paying and you can come shop in the store as much as you want, right?
Yep.
We're going to give you as many leads as we can send you. And next month, we're just going to try to send you more. Those are like the main differences I would see. Also put the link if you guys want to jump on and talk to us. We can always talk about it, because I know Mr. Alex REI said he wanted to talk to us about commercial leads. So the link's there. Looking forward to linking up with you guys. And I put it also in here in case anyone else wants to chat or has questions. As always, you can also just shoot the questions here while we're on the stream, and we can talk about them. But Craig, do we offer lead campaigns in other industries besides just real estate?
Yeah. It's more of a custom based on what your target audience is, your business model, what exactly you're looking for too. Are you selling a product? Are you providing a service? So yeah, I mean, ads, we can run ads for anything, guys. Obviously we are more versed in the real estate space. So if you want to run ads for, I don't know, plumbing or for roofing, it probably is going to come a lot faster and easier than running ads for people selling used cars, or they're, I don't know, trying to sell cell phones or something like that. So we can do it for anything, guys, but anything home, house, real estate, service related,
service-based,
we can probably get that up quicker, up and running than anything, outside of the box. So, but yeah.
Yep. We did one for, AI credit repair pretty recently, a project for people, lead gen for that. And also like we've spent over $100 million on paid advertising across e-commerce, high ticket lead gen, book a call funnels, coaching programs, obviously real estate, service-based industries, and then even small mom and pop businesses. I'm talking like landscapers, dentists, lawyers, things like that. So like we can do it. Obviously with this game, it's like for us, it's like very templatized. It's very, we can get you up and running within 24 hours. Some of these other projects, if they're not specifically something we are already building, a custom build could take a few weeks to get up and live, but it's obviously something we can do. And if you want to talk about it, you can obviously book a call with us to do it. We have done TikTok. We're currently running on Facebook, Instagram, Google Ads, LinkedIn, Snapchat, and TikTok. We run ads on all these platforms. However, it's all just kind of like every platform has different ways, different strategies. You need different creatives. They have different ways of tracking. But we do advertise everywhere. I will say that the most bang for your buck advertising is that we found is currently on Meta, so Facebook and Instagram. We've found that we can get, and I'm talking about we as a team with like our algorithm, our softwares, our internal processes we built out, we can get a lead the quality of a Google PPC of someone searching for we buy ugly houses, sell my house fast, like those types of search, which, those types of leads normally on Google ads can be $300, $400, $500, depending on your market, because it's so competitive and people are bidding on that click. So every time someone searches on that, there's a certain amount of people, probably investors and companies, who are saying how much they're willing to pay for that click. And you got to figure these companies like Best Western, Home Investors, these other people, they're willing to pay as much as it takes.
New Western. Best Western is the hotel.
New Western. That's what I meant. Sorry. New Western and these companies, they're willing to pay whatever it takes to get that click. Their budgets are much larger than your budget, unfortunately, at least for now, right?
Yeah.
And probably where you are in your business. So if you think you can go in and compete with them, you can, but I've seen a lot of people just waste thousands of dollars to get one lead. Come with us. You give us a couple, some of your marketing budget, and we will maximize it to where every single dollar is spent as effectively as possible, and you get the max amount of leads. I would say out the door, we can generate the highest, really high quality home seller leads of real people looking to sell their house who are going to have a real conversation for you for, depending on the market, $150, under $100. Some of them we're seeing for under $75, depending on the market, depending on your buy box, depending on your journey and how it works, at that price. And that's out the door. That's not like that includes everything it costs to get the campaign done. So that's kind of why we've been scaling so fast, because so many people have been bringing their marketing budgets from direct mail, from maybe their cold calling team, and bringing it over to us for inbound, because inbound is really a complete game changer in that sense.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, you definitely hit it on the head there. We have another question here. I ran Facebook ads before and it didn't work. Well, how'd you do it? Like, did you hire an agency? Do you do it yourself? Who made the ads? What type of ads? What type of form? Actually, probably the most important part, was it an on-platform pre-made Facebook form, or did you send the seller out of Facebook into something else? I guess explain a little more about that. Yeah. Whoever asked that question. Drew, I don't know if you can break down maybe why it works with why it works with us, and how people just assume that Facebook ads are all garbage.
Yeah. I mean, there's a million different reasons exactly without getting that information, but that statement of I've tried it and it doesn't work, like saying something works or doesn't work is very
we hear subjective. That a lot too, guys.
Very subjective question. I think of like my skill as a digital advertiser is as much as it is logic, as much as it is data. It's also creativity, and it also is like somewhat of being an artist. Why would someone look at a Picasso painting and say that is worth $1 million, and someone could look at a painting and say, I don't see any value in that, right? In the same way, just because you can play basketball doesn't mean you could get a scholarship to be in college, right? And play basketball. All of us can go dribble and shoot a ball, but then do you say that like basketball doesn't work because I didn't make it to the NBA? Where like our team is already starting five on the NBA, probably going to playoffs. I know there's a lot of talented people in this space, but our team has done this with hundreds of millions of dollars. So to say that like if you ran and did it yourself, you hired a kid down the street, you hired some other company and you didn't do the due diligence of how much experience they had, then to say that it doesn't work as a blanket statement really doesn't make sense to me. Because it does. It's just like I wouldn't go try to rewire my house. I am not an electrician. Right? So I wouldn't suggest anyone going, unless you're an electrician, to go rewire a house. If you're not hiring someone like us, then yes, it's not going to work. It's probably not going to end up too well for you. They do give you access to those tools yourself, and Meta really wants you to believe you can succeed at it because they want to take your money. Just the same way a lot of these ads platforms, they try to make it easy for the common person, with really low budgets. But when you're talking about spending thousands of dollars a month, you better be trusting an expert who knows what they're doing. And if you're not 100% sure that the expert knows what they're doing, then you should be really thinking about that decision. So I would say
100%.
that's kind of the simplest way to explain it.
Yeah, and I put out a video last week, kind of explaining a little bit about that. But even me and Drew, we've been doing this for years now, working with clients all over the place. And we've worked with people who have never done a deal before, right? And we've worked with people who do 100 deals a year plus. So it really depends on your guys' process in how you're going to handle the leads. And even better, how are you going to handle PPC leads, right? Like the process of somebody cold calling a lead with a VA in a different country, talking to a seller on an absentee owner list is not the same conversation as an inbound seller raising my hand saying, hey, someone died in my family yesterday and I lost my job and right? Yeah. You're going to have to play part of therapist and home buyer at the same time. So you can't just treat all leads equally. You need to have a dialed in system for ones that are that need more of a hand-holding experience in order to get that deal done. We've seen clients fail and over again, and they just want to come back and blame the lead. Hey, it's the leads. Hey, it's the leads. It's like, guys, we can get you the opportunities, but if you can't close, then you can't close. So I don't blame you saying, hey guys, it's too expensive. I need to go back to cold calling, because you're not going to close those leads anyways. You know what I mean? So our price is much more expensive, but you're still not going to close. So what's easier on the pockets? The cheaper way to do it in the worst of the lead quality. So it's really, guys, like we try to work with everybody, but just remember, like we're just getting you the opportunities. So dial that system in.
You know, you hire the world's best health and fitness coach, personal trainer. If you don't have the willpower to say no to those temptations and the willpower to wake up at 6 a.m. to do it, you can buy every course, you can sign up for everything, but it still comes down to you. We'll just provide you the best opportunities that we can get you at the most affordable rate. That's the only thing we can promise people, really. You know, people always say like, well, how many leads until I can close, till I'll close a deal? It's like, well, that's completely up to you, man. You know?
Yeah.
You know, how many swings at a baseball bat to go hit a home run depends on how good you are at baseball.
Yep. 100%. A lot of,
go for it.
People, I think a lot of people also, Drew, like I get this question all the time, and I'm not knocking anyone for asking it, but it's like, hey, how much CPL, how much is the average lead cost contract? Like how many leads to a contract? Like give us those numbers. And it's like, it's kind of like, sure, like I'll give you the average of what we know, but guys, we don't track our clients. Like we don't see how many offers they're making. We don't see, we see the data behind the lead count, stuff like that, but we don't see how many appointments they're running. Like that's up to them if they want to share it with us. You know what I mean? Like we're not in their business. We're working with them, but that's all data that they have, right? And also it's all different. Guys, your buy box, your funnel, your market, your sales system, everything's different. So comparing one person to another guy and assuming, hey, because he gets this amount of leads at this cost in this market is not going to be the same, even in the next door, because everything's different. It's kind of obsolete. My answer to that question is, what are you doing right now? Like, what is your CPL right now? How many deals are you closing per month? Like, give me your numbers and we can work from there. But it's tough to hammer down a certain number because just everything's so different in this game.
100%. Yeah. We had a question here, Craig. To get about 20 leads per month, how much budget do I need all in is the question.
Yeah. I mean, what do you consider a lead? A name, an address, and a phone number? Shit. $1,000? I don't know. 500 maybe. But if that's all you consider a lead, you know, somebody with a pulse, which I don't consider.
And also where is the target area, right? You know, things in Beverly Hills, things in my South Beach, Miami, things in Manhattan, that's going to be a lot more expensive. 20 leads, let's put it this way, 20 leads in a middle of nowhere town in Oklahoma with a population of, you know, let's say 100,000 or less, 50,000 people, those leads are going to be a lot less. Here's some just like sauce for you guys. with advertising, digital advertising, that's how these leads are generated, right? A lot of these PPL companies come to us and they buy leads from us and they resell them on their platform. So one, if you'd rather go pay the marked up price versus coming to Costco and getting things at wholesale price, then that's up to you. But how it works is depending on the population of an area and how competitive that area is. So if you go to a gas station in LA and Malibu and you buy, just think about a coffee, a Starbucks in LA, you may be paying up to $10 for a coffee. In the middle of the heartland of America, you go into a coffee shop, it may cost half that price. The closer you are to the oil manufacturers in Texas, the cheaper gas is. When you get all the way up to Maine and Seattle, gas prices are more expensive. In the city of New York, gas price is more expensive than when you cross that bridge and you get out of New York, right? The amount of people that are there, the amount of people that want that resource. So with us, what our resource is when we're advertising is people's feeds. Think about your Facebook feed. Think about an Instagram feed. And the best way to imagine this is it's like a newspaper, right? This is a newspaper. There's only so much stuff we can put on the newspaper, right? So when people advertise newspaper, it's how big of an ad they get on a newspaper. With this is how many scrolls does it take to get to your ad, right? If you're a advertiser spending a lot of money and you're really competitive and you have good ads that have good engagement, you get rewarded from these advertising platforms by them putting your ad right when someone opens their phone at the top of that feed, right? They don't have to doom scroll down to see it. But then at the end of the day, the average person in New York City, how many companies are coming for that feed, wanting to put ads on their feed? There's hundreds of thousands of businesses, maybe millions of businesses in New York City. How many of them are advertising? How many of them only serve people in New York City? So you're not competing with other real estate investors. You're not competing with other real estate companies. You're competing with every business that is advertising to that user's feed. So someone in middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, their feed is not worth as much. How many advertisers are advertising to those people? So when you think about your market and you think about what you're doing and where you're starting, the great thing is this, like, you can do this digitally. You can pick markets that have maybe high population, high real estate turnaround of like turnover of people coming and going, but is not the most industrious competitive place, which is why some areas like St. Louis, Oklahoma City, those areas work really well. But then also areas of insanely high population like Houston, Texas, where there is so many people that there is so many more feeds to advertise to versus a middle of nowhere town. If you're advertising to a small town, that could be equally as expensive as advertising in Beverly Hills because the population is so small. There's only so many people you can reach, right? So it's going to cost more. That costs more, the supply and demand of it all. So just like every other industry, digital advertising is like that. That all being said, we can make it work anywhere, but obviously balancing out the population size versus how competitive it is versus how many businesses are advertising there, all come into play with what that cost per lead is. So what we do is we take your marketing budget, we take all that into account, and we figure out how can we maximize it. How can we use our creative, our messaging, and our strategic partnerships we have? Because we've been advertising on these platforms for so long, these platforms reward us with ad accounts that are whitelisted. We can say things in real estate that other advertisers cannot. Real estate is what's called a special ad category on a lot of these platforms. So you have to say certain things. You have to target things a certain way, or you'll get your ads rejected and potentially get banned from the platform because advertising to real estate has had a ton of predators in the past, the way they advertise. It's the same thing with advertising drugs and alcohol and addictive substances. The way you can't advertise cigarettes on these platforms, right? Regulation. So there's a lot of regulatory stuff between in real estate. But since our company has such a long-standing reputation with 20 years of advertising these platforms, we have dedicated reps in these areas. Let's say in these foreign countries of like Tel Aviv, Israel, where the Facebook compliance and Meta compliance department is. And those reps grant us with whitelisted ad accounts because we have earned a level of trust with them to where they know we're not going to push the boundaries far enough. They know we understand the policies, and we're able to pass those savings back on to you. And that is why all these PPL companies come and buy leads from us, because we're able to pass that savings on to them. And it's cheaper for them to get have us generate the leads for them versus them generate them themselves. And because of that, the way we can say things and message things have a higher conversion rate of someone filling out their information. If you put one of our ads next to one of our competitors' ads, our ad is going to be much more psychologically more inclined to have that person fill out that form versus another form. We've also tested through, I don't know, Craig, how much creative over the years?
Dude, I mean, our portfolio is, revolving. I don't know. I would say 400 or 500 videos, give or take. And then at least 1,000
thousands of pieces of
statics.
creative. When we say creative, it's like the physical thing you see. What is physically on your feed, right? And it can be as granular as the color green versus the color red can have a completely different in people's minds. They see something bright red, they invoke certain emotion. They see something bright green, it evokes a certain emotion. When you guys are watching TV and you're watching the Super Bowl, you see a commercial for Geico, for State Farm, for Allstate, for Progressive, these 4 different insurance companies selling the exact same product. Some of them use humor. Some of them use celebrity cameos. Some of them use fear. And they say, like, don't let all these things happen to you in your life without being protected. Allstate does a great job at that. There's the companies that have the cartoon mascots like Flo and the Geico Gecko. Those are all different creatives that they found that their company has tested that works, right? So we're like, you're just skipping to the front of the line. If you want to go figure that all out yourself and then say Facebook ads doesn't work, that's on you. But you can come to us and it's like we have it all dialed and figured out. We know the creatives that work. We've tested through it. We know what works. And that's not just in real estate. That's across the entire industry of advertising of all the companies we've worked with. A 16:9 video, like a YouTube video, versus a full screen tall video like on TikTok. Those different 2 pieces of creative react completely differently to different users. So a lot goes into it.
I hear you, man.
When it comes to Southwest Wisconsin, North Chicago, 20 leads a month. This is going to be a really broad estimate. I'd say it really can depend on your buy box. Are you just looking for single family homes? But in general, somewhere between $75 to $150 per lead. So you can, let's say 100, and let's say we say 20. So maybe somewhere between $2,000, 2,500 as a very rough estimate. Again, we could launch it and you get 19. We could launch it and you get 29.
Yeah, really depends. A lot of factors rather than just, hey, how many leads am I going to get? Lead count. It's, a lot to go into it.
It's more like what's your marketing budget, and we will maximize the amount of leads. And then month 2, we're going to try to beat month 1. Month 3, we're going to try to beat month 2. It's a living, breathing relationship, a feedback loop of you telling us what you like about the leads, what you don't like about the leads, us going and adjusting that for quality, us seeing which creatives are resonating in your market. After a month, we will see the data of how your market is responding to which creatives. Maybe it's people of different nationalities, right? We see in maybe more certain areas, certain people of certain nationalities, those types of creatives of them talking or being featured in the images may resonate more in that demographic. So let's go get more of that. These pictures of these houses that look like houses in that area, right? Certain areas like Atlanta, right? Lots of all brick homes, right? So if the homes in the creatives look like they are from that area, they might convert better than running that piece of creative in Manhattan, where the homes don't look like that in Manhattan. If you're in the coastline of North Carolina, showing beach homes, right, makes more sense than showing that in Chicago. So figuring out which creatives resonate and then saying, hey, let's double down on that. Month 2 is going to be month 1. We're going to take all the data and the learnings as well as the campaign optimizing. And then we're going to try to build that. So it's like building an acquisition system that over time gets better, doesn't get worse. So the whole, like, how much does it cost to get X? Well, I'm worried about, like, how can I make it so that you're putting all your competitors out of business? Like, that's my goal. It's like, you're telling us I'm getting too many leads. That's what our goal is. And we can work with whatever budget that looks like that you're dedicating towards this project will maximize it. And that's where we found we can deliver the most value to our clients and how people stay with us for the long term. And we know that if we can have one guy killing it in each market, then we're set. That's all we need. So that's what we're really striving for.
How do you ensure the lead is the best quality? Short answer, guys, we target people, not property. If you're targeting property, you're going after the wrong distress in a seller. It's all about the person. Go for the person, then go for the property. Here's a question for, I guess, both of us. Do you guys think wholesaling will eventually become illegal? Drew.
I don't think so, because this is America, and I think that I think it might become more difficult, and you'll have to get more savvy. I know that regulated, and potentially just having to do things like, haven't you told me, Craig, if there's some, like, I'm not 100% as savvy as you guys, a lot of you guys probably on this call are, but like in certain areas you have to do the double close, right? I know there's that in certain markets. In Phoenix, they're becoming very more cracking down because there's so many predatory people the way they're doing it, but I doubt the entire thing is going to go away. Can we advertise cigarettes the same way we did in the 90s as the same way we did in the 70s and 80s? It wasn't that too long ago you could smoke cigarettes on airplanes and your doctor would be smoking a cigarette thing. Now, think about how much more we know about that and how much we know it is horrible for us, but it's still around.
Yeah.
Right? The companies are still thriving. We didn't just say no. It makes no sense for us to sell this product, to allow the humans to consume this product, but they didn't just get rid of it, right?
They regulated it.
They regulated it, and they made it so that it's more of an even playing field, and they probably made it so ways that they can make more money off it.
Just like alcohol,
that'll be said.
Yeah, just like alcohol. I think back when our parents were younger, they could be, at that point, they could be 18 to drink. Now you got to be 21. I don't remember cigarettes. I'm not sure, but same thing. Like, it just gets more regulated based on how many more, I guess, complaints are filed with the attorney general or the state that it's happening in. But me personally, I don't think it's going to become illegal, but I think the strategy of assigning it will become more regulated. That way, I think it was just more so the seller is kind of more familiar with what the terminology means and what you're actually doing. But no matter what, motivated seller is motivated seller. So if they got 50% equity in their house and they're ready to sell it to you for a massive discount and they're aware of it, then I don't think that the state should jump in to block that. I think you guys have a deal. You guys created a deal in a handshake and put it on paper, then you should be able to move forward. But yeah, that's my take.
And just think about it like this. What this all boils down to is the whole wholesaling. Like everyone wholesales every single type of product is wholesaled. House is a product. If I buy a car from your manufacturer, or I'm looking on Craigslist for people who don't realize what they have, and I get a deal on it, and then I flip that on eBay, is that illegal? Does that need to go away? Like, what is it we're talking about that is breaking the law? That is it. Now, maybe education with sellers goes up, and they eventually start realizing like what is actually happening, and some of the transparency will need to increase. But at the end of the day, the cream's going to rise to the top as it becomes more competitive and as it becomes more regulated. Maybe the spreads will go down, but it doesn't mean it's going to go away and necessarily be illegal. It just means probably only the best people will be able to have the true success.
There you go. Yep. How many clients do you guys have right now? Roughly 20, 30. We hover every day. We're picking up new clients. Sometimes clients are dropping off.
And honestly, we only really a lot of markets, depending on it, we can only work with one person in a market. So if you're interested in working with us, like we're onboarding 8 new markets next week, like check with us to see if your market's available and at least get in and get a deposit in, because it's probably going to be filled soon. And we built this company based off the aspect of we didn't think it made sense that PPL companies are taking all these guys' business, and let's say you go to like Lead Zolo, iSpeed to Lead, and maybe some other companies, and you're going and buying PPL leads. Well, your competitors are shopping on all those leads. All the same lead exists on all those different platforms. So you have 5 people buying the same lead and contacting the same person, where for us, the lead goes from the fingertips of the seller to your inbox exclusively to you in that market. And you'll be the first one they talk to most of the time, versus a PPL company where who knows how long that lead has been on that platform. Who knows that it's been returned and they've already been, that lead's been returned by 4 other people before. And now you're the 5th person in line buying that. Ours is the opposite. Like,
what's
if
the
it's
track
already
record?
CRM, cool, I'll bring you 5 more tomorrow. But it's just maximizing the amount we can get you for the same price, right? The maximum amount of leads we can get you for the same exact price, and getting you those opportunities. And the way it's really magical is our pixel and our tracking and our algorithm is able to predict these people needing to sell their house before they've started that process of researching selling their house. So it understands that because maybe they are researching funeral homes, that person may need to sell their house in the future, and it will start warming them up and nurturing them to market to them, where every other company is just going after homeowners, right? I don't care if they're a homeowner at all until the end of the process. I only care about, is this person facing a situation that we've determined is going to be a motivated seller? Financial, inheritance, divorce, foreclosure, something like that. If those things are happening in their life, the algorithm understands every single thing we do on the internet, all of our activity, what we text each other, what they hear our phone saying. It understands that, and then it predicts like this person is probably going to need to sell their house in 6 months. It starts advertising to them 6 months in advance. That way, by the time they get to the point, we're the only ads they've seen, versus someone who searches sell my house fast, and then there's 50 companies bidding on that same exact click, right? So that's where our competitive advantage is the way we built this system. And then on top of that, once we get that click, we then use our funnel to weed out anything we don't want. So let's say, is this a mobile home? Yes or no? Is this a condo? Yes or no? Is this on the market? Yes or no? The way they answer those questions allows them through or not. We'll kick out ML on market or mobile homes, or might be. They have to double confirm that they are looking for a cash offer and they're not looking for retail value. We do all things like that to ensure that this person is motivated before we ever put them in front of you. And then when we put them in front of you, they filled that out within seconds. It's not been sitting on a PPL platform for potentially hours or days. You guys know as well as we do that speed, how important speed to lead is. And that's why we built the system this way.
Yep. That is correct.
In Illinois, you have to do double closing, and it sucks.
Yeah. Well, it depends on who's playing. Yeah, who's going to be paying those closing costs? Do you have to come out? Is it worked into your fee? Is the seller paying it? The buyer's paying it? It is an extra charge. Some title companies I know do pass through, and they'll set it up like a double close, but they'll only charge you for one. They'll charge you for the recording docs, but not 2 title policies. So that's pretty cool. Just talk to them about it. Do you guys work with our brand, or how does that work? Yes, we do it both. If you want to pay for it to use your brand, and we have to create all new ads based on that brand. So it is a little bit longer of a runway to get your stuff up and running. And it's like creating a whole new sandwich company where you have a city with 100 Subways and people know what they're going to get. They go to Subway to buy this, and they know what it is. The brand is proven. Picture it like that. You're creating a brand new company. Now we're running ads to it. So I will tell you right away, you will not get the same success that we're doing when we're using our own brand, because it has been shown to millions and millions and millions of people for the last 5 years in every market across the country. But we can do it, yes.
And our algorithm understands how our brand reacts to people. At the end of the day, that's not saying that you guys don't have a strong brand, because there's probably some of you who have stronger brands than we do. I'm not going to sit here and be unrealistic, but let's say your brand is, Tommy Buys Houses LLC, right? Are people going to trust that? I don't know if they are. If you created a sandwich shop and you named it like hot garbage sandwiches, right? You better hope that converts. But I know for a fact, if you just want to sell sandwiches, then just get a Subway franchise. The difference is having a Subway franchise in our sense is cheaper than starting your own. So you might as well do that. Like, would you rather have a Subway franchise without having to pay any of those extra costs, right, of a franchise? Or would you pay more to be able to start your own from scratch and cross your fingers and hope it works? So we do it. It's normally guys who are doing so well. They're doing so well that they're willing to devote extra of their budget to, in addition, build a brand name. They want to build a brand name in their area that they can, be sponsoring baseball teams, right? The youth baseball teams. They want to have a brand name, like that's important to them. So it's really just what's important to you. If you're looking to spend your marketing budget on building a brand name for yourself, like then go put up some billboards and stuff, right? But if you want leads, then use the stuff what's already built out and working.
Yep. Couldn't be more. All right, here's another one. Let's see what we got. Man, a lot of questions today. You guys, I love it. So on Steve Tring's podcast, you mentioned cold calling is dead. I still do it and I'm getting deals. Explain yourself, Drew.
I think obviously, like, good on you. And I think it's still possible. It's still working. When we say cold calling dead, we think cold calling is dying. Maybe it's in the hospital. Should be a better term, right? And it's not looking good. The prognosis
life support.
Life support. And why that is because maybe you guys have already noticed, if you're cold calling, I'm sure you have noticed that just in the past quarter, starting, I believe, around the new year, maybe a little bit before, there was an iOS update, which you got to figure, let's just round about, say 50% of the population is on iPhones, where I don't even know if it's a setting you turn on or it just comes auto on, but it screens calls for you. So already you're dealing with the fact is, like, people going to answer a call. Does it say spam likely when they call, right? You just don't know. Are you calling from the same zip code, right? Now the phone won't even ring. It will say, hey, this is, you're calling Craig's phone. Let me see if he's available. Can you please leave a message and tell me your call? And you say, hey, this is Johnny from XYZ Home Buyers. And that person is like, oh, I'm not going to answer that, right? Versus their phone just ringing, and then I'm curious of who it is. That whole answering the phone because you're curious of who's calling is going away.
Yeah.
So you better get savvy.
Yeah, that is becoming the new knock, knock, knock. Someone's at my door. When you're like, oh my God. But 30 years ago, the door's open. You just come right in. Now we're at, hey, someone called I don't know who it is. I'm not answering it. That's everybody. It's more scarcity.
Think about it, like, Craig, you said the door is open, someone comes in. Then it became knock, 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 someone answering the door. Now there's a security guard in the driveway. And you have to tell that security guard that you're looking to talk to that person. And that security guard makes a decision whether that person wants to talk to you or not.
Yep.
And that's the way it is. That doesn't mean that you're a really slick sales guy and you can get past that bouncer at the door. I'm sure a lot of you guys can. But as far as like hiring a foreign, potentially a outsourced team, overseas team, and them being able to have that acumen and scale still to do it, I think it's going to get harder and harder. And anyways, you're being intrusive. Any type of intrusive advertising is inherently met with some type of resistance versus inbound. Why would you not want the people coming to you? You're now helping them from a problem instead of causing a potential problem. This person's in the middle of dinner, you're blowing them up, you're causing a problem in their life, trying to solve a problem that you hope they have. Now they are coming to you saying, I have a problem. I'm looking, can you please help me? Right? So think about the difference in that sales cycle.
And if you watch the full episode, you can obviously hear my horror story, which I've heard worse. But it is out there. Litigators, DNC, trolls, TCPA, that whole litigator act is real, and it happened to me, and it will keep happening. So you got to be very careful about if you are doing cold call or anything like mass text or email or whatever, that you don't give them all your information, because they will use it against you. So just be very wary of that. And but yes, outbound, guys, is cheaper. It is a lot cheaper than us, but it is more work. So you're trading your time for money. When it comes to what we do, it's the other way around. We can get you the leads, just have a process, and you'll be able to scale it. All right, Drew. So I think that's out of questions for now. But where do we see? You mentioned something about the rates. The past few months have been rising. What else are we seeing in the market as far as advertising? Are the platforms charging more? How are we navigating all of these financial issues when it comes to digital advertising?
I think that with the report I read was that mortgage rates have been rising for 4 straight weeks now, where we kind of had a little bit of a streak where they were slowly declining. It may just be like a quarter of a percentage point, but they moved back now into the mid 6% range. And home sales rose 1.7%, and pending sales rose 1.8%. So there's actually seems like there is starting to be more sellers than buyers right now, which is kind of what the industry tends to be going, which I'm sure is because of the cost of everything. People are facing financial distress. Cost of everything's going up. I don't know. I filled up my gas yesterday. It was $4 a gallon here in Florida, right? That's about up 100% from a couple years ago when we had around $2. So if you think about that extrapolated to just one specific thing and how that could be affecting everything across the country, that means the cost to move goods and services is going to go up, and they're not going to just eat that cost. They're going to increase their prices on everything. So cost of advertising, you can expect everything to be on the rise, just because most companies never pass those savings back onto the consumer. And a lot of times, normally they just realize like, hey, if people are willing to pay this, then why not keep charging that? So, there's crackdown on these big Wall Street landlords, crackdowns of them. So it's creating a lot of opportunities for small investors. There's more sellers on the rise. There's more financial distress. So I think all of that, even though the rates are going up, that shows uncertainty. It's obviously probably because the war and things like that. So I think it's actually going to be a really great opportunity for people going into Q2 and Q3 of this year as those sellers start to come. We always see this time of year the leads really start tending to come in cheaper and at a higher volume. I think as the snow starts melting, there's a lot of people who are putting this off until it's nicer out. Maybe they're trying to move their grandma out of the house, and like doing that in the bitter cold, they don't want to do, or have to deal with the cost of moving and stuff like that with these months. And as in the summer, kids get out of school, snow's gone, the climate's better, people are more ready for that like fresh start. And I think more people kind of move at that point. They want to be settled by the time it starts getting cold again. They want to be settled before the holidays start coming, things like that. So we really start seeing that increase and peak around this time of year.
AI. So obviously this has been a game changer for the industry and a lot of other industries as well. Are we using it? Yes, we do use AI. It's very helpful. We don't use it for probably a lot of things we should, but for certain tasks, we do use that. And our clients use it too, guys. A lot of these CRMs do come plugged in with their AI chatbot or auto caller or whatever you want to call it. And so it can be beneficial. There is opt-out language and discretionary stuff you have to have in there to make it compliant. But it sounds pretty good. Some of the stuff I've heard, it sounds pretty good. It works really well. Just, I guess, get with your CRM developer to see if it could be a plug-in for yours. Most everyone I know now, and Drew, you set up the development side. So I think most of the guys are using RE Simply still, right?
A lot of RE Simply, GHL, Podio. We've been seeing a lot of Follow-Up Boss.
Oh yeah.
It just really depends. Like everyone, they're all, hey, listen, some people like Coke, some people like Pepsi, some people like Dr. Pepper. It's more how you use it than anything. Hey, does a hammer or a screwdriver work better? It's like, right? Like, well, they do two completely different things. It's more like, what problem are you trying to solve? So I think if you're really savvy with CRMs and you've used one before, then use one that you've used before. Like a lot of people maybe be like, oh, I used to own XYZ business and we use GHL. then go use GHL, right? Because you understand it. And that learning curve is going to be what saves you a lot of money. And it's a lot more affordable than some of the other ones. One like REI Simply can be more expensive because it's more one size. It's not one size fits all. It's really focused into one niche industry. So if you don't know what you're doing, you've never used a CRM before, maybe one of those that is like more fit to your specific niche. But you pay a premium for that, right?
Yeah.
And so that's, I think, is the flip side of it.
Yeah, and we also work with a decent amount of dudes who still are using spreadsheets. Now, me personally, we're tech savvy guys. I wouldn't do that, but they do because it's easier for them to understand. It's not a whole learning curve on, oh, I got to set up all this. And, some of these CRMs, you got to go through a week or two of just the learning phase, right? Just seeing how things are different and how everything works. So for them, like the spreadsheets seem to be working fine. And they just edit it. They have all their leads just flow into a spreadsheet and they do whatever they want to do with it after the fact. So, yep.
Another big thing to note, guys, just that, it was just reported in February that there was 46% more home sellers than buyers right now for February.
Wow.
So that is the biggest gap in their records in a really long time. There's 630,000 more sellers than buyers on the Redfin platforms through Redfin. So you got to understand, like, this is a great setup for us, price cuts, buyer leverage, off-market opportunities. Like, we're finally getting the negotiating power back on our side. And I think prices are going to start dropping drastically. So you're going to have more opportunity to walk away from something because no one's going to probably be able to beat your price in a lot of senses. So just keep that in mind as you're going into this. Like, expect to get some more leverage on your side and a little bit of relief from the way the industry's been. Definitely last year was.
Yep, no doubt. I think we're about wrapping up here. Is there any more comments, questions, anything else, Drew, you want to leave off on before we scoot?
I don't think so. I just think, as always, if you guys, got some value from today, we'll be back in a couple weeks. We do this every other Friday, and we usually have some special guests. But as always, if you need anything, if you have questions, complaints, concerns, or want to talk about potentially working together, our link is super easy, start.leadhouse365.com, and you can find us everywhere at leadhouse365.com. And at the end of the day, we're just looking to network and meet as many people as possible and share as much value and knowledge. And if that leads to us potentially working together someday, then even better. But we're here for anybody who might need some assistance.
Yeah, and if you guys do want to be a guest on our show, if you're a marketer or a real estate investor or anything business person, hit us up, DM us. We can have you on. We can talk about the industry, talk about everything. And yeah, just make sure you guys follow us on Instagram, click that subscribe button on YouTube, and we'll be back next month in Q2 with another episode. And yep, peace and love you guys.
See you guys.